Hello, Andrew Brown, cinematographer here, and today we're gonna talking about 25 cinematic light scheme in low budget scenario. It means minimum equipment.
Brown. Bloody beautiful.
Firstly, I bring my practical lights here. Secondly, I set up my main key light to motivate my practical light from the left side. Step number 3, I bring my SL60 and put it on C-stand with some light control tools for my motivation backlight. Step number 4, it's fill the shadow area. You can do it or not, it's up to you. I use simple reflector or white cloth for this and you see the difference right now.
Brown.
First thing first, I grab my Godox SL60, put on the stand, then I grab another stand, get my own super handmade gobo and imitate the blinds effect.
Gorgeous.
Here I used just one light with Fresnel point top down plus fog. This one you can use for different things, but the main idea is that a simple setup might be a game changer for you in low budget scenario.
Brown.
First thing first, reduce outside light intensity. You can do it several different ways, but I choose a simple one. Just bring white cloth and diffuse sunlight. I bring my super cheap SL60, put some black cloth to reduce spilling around. Today we will use my special tool and cheap light to illuminate this area nice and clean. It's kind of nice how soft and hard lights can work together here. Fill in shadow area. If you want to increase exposure on the shadow side of the face, you can use a reflector.
Oh yes.
This variety seems the same as a daylight scenario. You need to reduce your light intensity a bit, bring some blue gels and diffuse light if you want. It's up to you, you can experiment here.
Brown.
Here we try to set up fake moonlight through the blinds. You also can practice making different shadow shapes using just neck to cover some light and create more accurate shadows.
Fabulous.
Step 1. Open your window blinds and set up exposure level for outside if you have a cheap camera without nice dynamic range. Make sure you are filming in cloudy weather and you don't compete with the sun. Set up the light as close as possible if you will use a small light like a SL60 or similar. Second light, we need here to create a shape from the window blinds on the background wall from this direction. You can also add diffusion cloth for the main key light, but try to avoid big soft tools for this because you kill the shapes and give light will look flat.
Brown.
The goal here is to mimic the daylight coming from the window and illuminating space, but not too much. Plus, we shouldn't see stands in the frame. Mission almost impossible with cheap tools, but we can handle it. Cover the window with cloth to reduce the intensity. We should have a backlight here, but the window doesn't give enough light. I set up our Godox on stand in the corner to try to hide it from the shot. I took a small mirror and decided to bounce our light from it. Finally, it allows to make this source invisible in the frame. However, we create nice rim lights here. I used the reflector to create a shadow pattern on the wall. I've put this light on top-down position, added some diffusion and recreated microwave tungsten light.
Brownell.
I still using practical lamp here, basic one. I placed one light source with nag and warm gel above the character and tried to mimic the practical lamp angle. Created backlit, but still harsh enough that would be nice and clean.
Good then.
Set up practical light on the background. I placed one source above the actor in the backlight direction to motivate the practical light. The light from MacBook display, its aperture M9 set up straight from the screen.
Brown.
I set up this composition and brought some lights. First one is an airy 150 Fresnel bouncing through the mini bounce board. Practical light here is Aperture B7C. Second light is a Godox SL60 with a handmade gobo. I kind of create an illusion of blue moonlight coming through the window. Also here I add some fog and I'm using this mini machine for that.
Brown.
I placed one light source on the C-stand with specific angle and blast through the closet. The second one I pointed on the wall through a DIY blinds gobo.
Brown.
The main key light source placed on C-stand pointed like a backlight. I took some small mirrors and bounced them from the backlight. Now we have some good separation from the background and still mixing soft light from the window and hard light inside the room. Also I have different version for that. You can see how it looks if we try to traditional wraparound lights with additional light sources and big diffusion. It could work too, but the previous scheme it's about how you can use your knowledge in the lack of equipment.
Brown.
The easiest way to shoot in this situation is to use some tubes to amplify practical light or use real practical without any additional light. Also you can use the black gaffer tape to cut off spilling light around a little bit.
Bloody beautiful.
The key light was wrapped by black cloth with blue gel plus diffusion pointed like a backlight. Super simple setup but so effective. If you need to squeeze your production time and get more angles as possible, that's for sure a good example.
Brown.
I use an additional light source wrapped by black cloth and some diffusion for enhanced practical light on the background. This one isn't about super high-key fancy product shots. It's just a cinematic dark mood interpretation of using less for the best and leaving it how it is.
Gorgeous.
I set up the main key light through the big white cloth. I took a small mirror and placed it behind the product, then bouncing light from the main source. This simple variation shows you how you can achieve the high-key look in low-budget scenario at home.
Brown.
Our mission here is to create a softer light as possible for close-up shots. You should get the biggest white cloth that you have. I placed mine on C-stand and created a diffusion rig for this. If you are using big soft cloth, I also recommended to add some neck for reducing spilling light around. You also can set up the light source far from the white cloth for illuminating the whole material, not just the center. It allows you to get much softer light.
Brown.
First I set up background. It's a white cloth with some clamps. Main key light wrapped by neck, plus worm gel, plus handmade gobo. Now you have a basic music video setup for your home production thing.
Brown.
The practical lights here, it's a basic one without any special lamp there. The main key light and motivated light placed on the C-stand, pointed top down and wrapped by neck. The second light I set up outside to add fake street light effect. Also it seems too harsh to me, but for now it's okay. It's just a reminder for you, if you have simple low budget tools, you also can provide good lighting if you put some time there.
Brown.
The main key light placed from the right side of the talent, wrapped by neck. The next thing what I did, I bounced and light by a small mirror, create a nice shape on my face. I put my Aperture M9 on the practical light source and it created a more interesting scenario.
Bloody beautiful.
Here I want to show you how soft light works with reflection. Instead of using hard light like here, using soft light with big diffusion cloth and you can get these nice results.
Brown.
The easiest way to catch the nice shapes of the sun is just to have a nice blinds and weather outside. Here I don't use any additional light, it's just a natural thing.
Gorgeous.
The main key light SL60 through big white cloth. Here we will use the same approach with the biggest soft source. I would like to use for fill light just a reflector or white cloth. The backlight here is tungsten area light to mimic the sun from the window.
Brown.
The first thing I did here is grab Godox SL60 and put it on a stand with blue gel and point it on the wall. Then I add my DIY gobo and try to create some depth here. I call this shadow kick. Next thing is a mirror. I love to use it because you always can turn one light for two. Here I use 3. For this scene I'm using a flag and black cloth to kill some extra light around. Step 3. Bring some key light. I use a budget LED panel for this plus blue gel to support the mood of the scene. Also I add some fog for each scene for glued together nicely. Budget light scenario, it's always an experiment. Try to new things and only practice brings you power to do it fast and easy.
Bloody beautiful.
Step number 1 here. I don't have an interesting interior and my walls look flat all the time. But if you have the same problem, you can use gobo and split shadow technique to create some depth on background. First step, I bring my fake moonlight setup DIY gobo and we have some depth. The next step, practical lights, B7C here plus Christmas tree. Motivation for tree light is key top down. It's basically a china ball for 15 bucks. I put in B7C without any power cords. Just wondering how much light power I can get from it. Also I put the nag on the floor for cuts peeling around. That's all my friends. If you like this video, please smash like button, leave the comment below and subscribe to my channel. Andrew Brown, cinematographer here, and see you later.